Hey, this is Orlando of Spontaneous Entertainment. Here to give you just a couple of tricks on what I use when I use Simple Boost Pro Edition 2. You can use overlays as layouts. You know, it's a little different from the I guess the PC softwares. But what I do is I design some of my actually all of my layouts in Photoshop, so I can kind of give you guys like my workflow to see what I do to kind of bring it into like Simple Boost and like the whole process. Okay, so here it is. All you need is any I believe any build of Photoshop, any version of it. They're all basically you know, for what you need it for. All you need is your layers, and you know it's very basic, so you can use any one you like. So if you have CS1, 2, 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. You can still follow along. Okay, so come on in. Okay, this is the Pro Edition 2. I'm gonna start it up. Okay, I have no presets here, so we're gonna make one. Add, and we'll call it template. Template done. Okay, we're gonna open template. Okay, after we open template, the first thing we are going to do is we're gonna take our margins and we're gonna bring it all the way up to as far as it can go. Okay, once the template's up there, we're gonna come on down. I want to bring my countdown seconds down so that the template is pretty quick. I put it on 2 seconds. Take off the beep sounds for now because because after I go through the whole thing, I want to go through one session so I can show you how it works. Make sure I turn off all the edit screens. I don't want any kind of social media. I usually do turn on auto print, but this time I will not because I'm not planning to print this. Finish layouts and save 4x6 sheets directly to Dropbox. So if I had a social media kiosk connected, it would go right to my Dropbox, right into my live booth, and I can pick it up, immediately. Okay, so here, what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take into account layout size on the lower right. See, the layout size is 1988 by 1551 pixels. That is the dimensions you need to put into Photoshop when you start a new project. Okay, so follow me into Photoshop. Okay, now that we are in Photoshop, this happens to be Photoshop Creative Cloud 2015. We're going to open up a new document. Going to go up to File, New Document. We'll just call it Template. All right. Now we're going to change the width to 19, what was it, 1988, 1551, I believe it was. 1551, something like that. Okay, resolution, it could be anywhere between 70 to 150. I try to go on the higher side just so that it prints with more detail. But the sizes that we print wouldn't really impact it too much. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. That should give me the exact same size as the screen. Okay, so from here, okay, if you notice, I do have rulers on the screen up on top. View rulers, I just click the shortcut, which is Command R, to turn them on and off. The reason why we need them is to create guides. Okay, the first thing we do is we click the background layer twice. Clicking the background layer twice makes it an editable layer, even though we're not going to edit it, just in case we want to do something to it later. Okay, what we want to do first thing is we want to create some grid lines, or we want to create our template. Now the template has to look something like, hold on, has to look something like this. Right, you figure, because we're doing a four photo template. All right, so this is something I did for a 50-year-old birthday party a couple while back. Okay, so here, okay, what we're gonna do is first we're gonna take our line tool. Now our line tool is here. If we right click, we have rectangle tool, rounded rectangle tool, ellipse tool, polygon tool, line tool. Line tool is what I use. Okay, now before using it, I want to click on my move tool. Now when you click, you notice how the arrow changes when we go into the ruler itself. Okay, when I click, it's gonna and drag down, it's gonna give me a guide. Now this guide is gonna snap. It's always gonna snap into 50% of the page. So if I scroll down, it's gonna stop directly in the middle of the page. Okay, so now I'm gonna do that same thing. That was the horizontal. Now we'll do the vertical. It's gonna snap right in the middle. Done. So that's the middle. Okay, so now we have a perfect X, right, or plus sign. right in the middle, because that's where we want our lines to be. Okay, so first we want to click on our line tool, line it up. Now we can create a line. Right now, this particular line, right, it's always going to be crooked unless you hold down the shift key. The shift key automatically makes it even. It will always be on the same plane or on the same pixel, so to speak. So we want to do that on the horizontal one, and we want to do that on the vertical one. So we want to drag down, holding down the shift key. So now we have that X. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the guides because we don't need them. Now the shortcut is Command semicolon, or if I wanted to turn them off, see here when we go to Snap to, I'm sorry, where is it? Show guides. That's what turns them on and off. That's for those who don't know the shortcuts. Show, turn off the guides. Okay, so we don't need them. So the way we can see those lines, because if you notice, I have a foreground color white and a background color black. So that means that the lines are there, but they are white. So if we want them to appear, I can actually take them so that they appear and add a stroke to it. So now you can see them. So we'll add a stroke on the inside. So that's what we need. It's just a blue bar. Now I can take that effects and I can take that, copy layer style, go over here, paste layer style, and that'll give me the exact same line. Isn't it the same line? Yes, sir. Exact same line. So now that we have those two lines, that'll basically give us like an idea of where we're going. Now, that's just the middle portions. Now we need the outer portions. So we basically have to duplicate both of these lines to give us the entire frame, you could say. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is label which is which. Okay, this is the horizontal. I'll just type it H-O-R. Actually, you know what? It looks pretty bad. Let's spell it out. Horizontal. Okay. Can't spell today. Okay, then we have vertical. Okay, so that's the vertical. Okay, we want to do is we want to duplicate both of these layers twice. So we'll do the vertical twice first. The way we duplicate the layer is you can actually grab the layer and you can drag it down to the new layer. That'll automatically give you a copy. Or you can hold down Command J and that'll give you another copy. So it's either or shortcut. So we click on the move tool. Now holding down the shift key, we want to drag one to the right hand side of the screen and drag the other to the left hand side of the screen, holding down the shift key. Now if you notice it went a little too far, we're going to scan in a little bit. So we want it at the end of the page. Now we can click the other side. We'll look at it by pixels. So we make sure we're at the end of the page. Okay, both sides. So now we do the same thing to the vertical line. So we'll click Command J twice. So we make two copies. Now we're going to take one. Oh, you know what? There wasn't the vertical. We had a copy. See that? I made a mistake. Horizontal twice. So we already did the vertical. Okay, so now we're going to shrink this down a little bit. And then we'll drag this one. Oops, sorry. I'm going to drag this one up. Let's drag it over a little bit. Up to the top. It should snap. And drag this copy down to the bottom. Now what I mean by snap is Photoshop has a thing where it actually snaps right into where it's supposed to be. You know, if it's against a line or if it's against a mutual point, it kind of snaps. So it kind of helps you. Okay, so now we have our total background, you could say. So now what I want to do is turn all these effects off because I don't need to see them right now. So make sure they're all off. I take them all, highlight them all. Now what I want to do is merge them all with each other. Oh, come on. Finger stuck. Okay, I want to merge them all with each other. So I want to go to Layer. I want to go to Merge Down. So where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Did I lose it? I'm so used to the shortcuts. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Why is it not here? That's what I want to do. I want to merge down. Oh, there it is. Layer, merge shapes. So then that'll merge them onto one layer. Alright, which is what we need. Now, using this stroke, we can change it to any color. So let's say we want it to be a green. We want it to be, you know, whatever color you like. And then you can increase the density by using it in the center. You can increase the thickness of the lines. Or should we do it on the inside? Okay, we'll do it there, on the inside, so that it brings it in evenly. Or actually, you know what? I think I prefer the center. Yeah. So here, so we bring it out a little bit. See, that gives us the full outline that we need. Now, this particular outline, if you save it as a PSD file, you can save it as, let's say, this particular size. I like to do it as kind of not too wide, because I like to have more of the picture and have the pictures a little larger. So I like to keep it around, I would say around there, just so that it gives us like a little outline. Now this particular outline can be changed at any time. So if you have an event that, let's say, it's around Christmas time and you need a red, you bring it here to the red. If it's a baby shower and you need like a light pink, well, light pink. Whether it's a baby shower but it's a boy, you need a light blue, change it to a light blue. So you can always change that because it is a PSD file. So, you know, you can always just save and adjust. Now I'm going to turn off the bottom layer. Now that bottom layer is just the placeholder so that you can see where the pictures go. I'll bring it back just so that we can see the color. Now, this is where the tricks come in. Now, Photoshop is a layer-based software. So everything you see everything is done in layers. So whatever layer is on top is the one that's going to be most prominent that you're going to see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to add another layer on top of it. Okay, that's going to be the text layer. So we're going to call it, I guess, we'll call it my birthday. My birthday. All right. I know it's not original, not my birthday, but we'll use that for now. So I can take this, spread it out just a little bit, and we can add some text effects to it in order to make it more prominent. You throw a little shadow on it. There it is. It appears. So I can take that color. See, one of the things about also Photoshop is when you want to choose a color, you can always choose a color of whatever graphic you have in the actual file itself, and you can take that color. So let's say I want to see how the drop shadow changes now to the background color, and you can't really notice it. If you want it to be a little more prominent, you just add a little more color to it. So now it's within the same color family. We're just darkening it up so that it looks more prominent. So if you put photos behind it, of course you'll see it because it has that highlight there. Then we can also adjust how much of the highlight, how much of the distance it is, how much of the spread it is to make it darker. You know, you can, pretty simple. So then we could take that, and of course it's its own field, so we could drag it around, do as you wish with it. Let's say you just want it down here and it'll just be on the bottom picture. It's up to you. I'm a big symmetrical person, so I don't like it just to be on one side. It looks kind of weird to me. But yeah, so we could take it down, shrink it. Now the way I'm shrinking it, by the way, is you hold down Command T. That's the transform tool. Now every time I transform something, I try to keep the what do they call it? The the attributes of the square, because if I bring it in, see how the text kind of squashes? I don't like that. Let me undo that. So I always like to hold down Shift and always take the corner so that it keeps its you know, just its attributes. You know, so whether it goes larger or smaller, that font is still basically the same size. You know, like everything has the correct kerning, and kerning is like the distance between each letter. I want all that to stay consistent, so I always try to hold down Shift key to, you know, keep those proportions. That's the word, proportions. Okay, so then we can also, you also want to advertise yourself, so we can make a copy of this, and we can put down here mywebsite.com. So if you want to promote yourself, we can take that. Now we can take this one and we can change that particular color. Alright, so right here, this particular website, see, this is it's actually a white with a different color drop shadow. So what we can do is we can have a color overlay on it, and we'll change that to, let's say, a black. Looks blue right now, right, doesn't it? Okay, what we want to do is we want to take that. Did I change it? Oh, I changed it to blue. So here we want to change it to black, and we'll make it real small so that it's noticeable, but it's not noticeable in the corner. There we go. So you can put your thing on the side, so you can always promote yourself. We'll leave it here, let's say. Hypothetically speaking, you would obviously you wouldn't put it on there on some events. You can put it on there if you want to. Totally up to you. Okay, now this is where we dress it up. So then we could turn off both of these, and now we want to dress this up. So let's say this is going to be a boy's baby shower. So we want to dress this up like kind of baby-ish. So what could we use? We could use different brushes. So we'll go into the brush tool. We can add some frames, and we can add things of that nature. So we add another layer. And here I have a weird brush. I download a bunch of brushes off Google, where you can actually just Google Photoshop brushes, and you'll get a whole bunch of websites and places that have thousands and thousands of brushes. So you can just basically collect to your heart's content. I mean, you can basically, and you can also make your own. So let's say we want to add, let's think of something. This is just at random. Okay, so let's say we want to add corners to this. So I like this particular corner. So I take this brush. If you know it's going to pop up, it's a little too big. So using my bracket keys, I'm going to make it smaller so that it kind of blends in. So I make sure my color is, let's see, we'll do a black. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, I don't like it. See, that's the way you experiment, and you go through your brushes and you kind of, get a feel for what's out there. What we could do is actually, well, let's say the little boy likes cars. So you know what? Let's be a little inventive here. Let's go online and we'll check this out. Let's see. We'll go here. Done. We'll go to, let's see, car PSD. So let's see if we can free pick. And we'll just at random grab a pick of a car. Let's see a kind of a cool car. No, I want a real car. I don't want a toy car. So then let's see. I don't like any of these. Hold on. We'll go into images. Look like one. Okay, so this one looks like it'll match well. So we'll take that. We'll view image. Save images to downloads. Close that because we don't need that. So now what we can do is go into our downloads and we'll take that sports car, drag it right in. Come on. Alright, so if you notice, it actually isn't a PSD because the white's behind it. Now what I can do is I can put it to multiply and it'll disappear, but it'll blend in too much. I don't want it to blend in. Because we can put this here in the corner underneath, or we can put it somewhere in the middle. We can shrink it, but I don't want it to be, nah, I don't know if I like that. Yeah, so if you don't like it, then you delete it, think of something else. Okay, we'll see if we can get another car. Let's say we want to use, this one's nice. This is a PSD file, so we view the image. Let's see, this should be a lot better. Okay, that's that one. Let's try this one. This is a PNG, so it's most likely, there it is. So it's transparent. So we could take this, we can put this down here, make it a little smaller. So that could be like, like the theme. We can copy it and put it up here, or put it on the bottom, or even put it on the other side. Or no, or not really. Or you see, notice that color? We can take that color and change the stroke. So now what we do is when we click the color wheel, see how you get the eyedropper? Click here, and it's going to give you the different shades of purple. See, so now it kind of matches. Now we could take this, and that'll give us a little more of a feel. So that when we pop into my birthday, so now, since this is black, we can change the font color to black and take away the smoke. Hold on. Let's go. Okay, so now we have that. Now, if you notice, this font doesn't really go well. Make it a little smaller. This font doesn't really go well with hold on. Let me take this, put this on top. Okay, so we can actually, we can leave it here, and we can add a little drop shadow behind it, but a different color. See this purple? Purple's too dark, so I can actually keep it in the purple family. Bring it here and then bring down the spread. So we bring down the spread, bring down the distance. There it is. But I don't like it to just be, yeah, there it is. So we'll just have a slight glow around it. So then here it is. So then we can take that. Then we can also dress up the corners here. So then we'll look for a brush. We'll add another layer. Let's go for, let's see. Has to be something. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Tire tracks. That'll work. So let's see. These are pretty big. So bring the tire tracks down. Let's see what they look like. I don't know if they look kind of weird. Maybe I need the right one. Let's see if I can put a tire track going down the side here, which will look kind of cool. Actually, you know what? What if I was to make it bigger? I can actually make the tire track really big. It looks like somebody ran it over. That would look kind of cool. And I can bring that car over that layer. But it still pops up. Take that layer, drag it over just a little bit. That layer. Drag it out just a little bit. That'll give us like a little, just a little something. I don't know. I'm just making up something. So then, okay. So then what we'll do is we'll save that. And we'll save it. Now remember, you have to save it as a PNG file, and you have to make sure it has no background. See these little checker boxes? That means that it's transparent. So we can take that. We can take this, automatically go to Save As. I'll save it as template on my desktop so that I have the PSD file. You always want to save the PSD file first because you can always alter and change it later. So then we can take it. Now we save it as a PNG because this is what you are going to email yourself. See, the file extension changes to PNG. Go to desktop so that you know where to find it. There it is. So now it has been saved. So now it's on the desktop. Where is the template? Hold on. Where is it? Okay, so here it is. That's the template. Okay, we're going to email it to ourselves. So I'm going to open up my email here. Email myself. Template. Okay. We'll email it to, oh, here it is. I'll just drag it in. Bloop. So then here, I'm going to email it to myself so I can get it on my iPad. Okay, now we're back on our iPad. And we want to go into our Mail app. Now remember, this is very important. Always use your Mail app. Your Mail app is the, the actual, with the little 3 on it. Always use your Mail app. Never go into either Safari or Firefox or one of those particular apps and log into your email because it does not save as the PNG. All those other forms, they all save as a JPEG. You want it to stay as a PNG. So open up Mail on the Taurus template. Okay, it's downloading. Once it downloads, what you want to do as it downloads, come on. Okay, once it downloads, you tap and hold, save image. That will automatically save it to your camera roll. So now we open Simple Booth. Want to click Overlay Image, choose, go into our camera roll. There you go. That's our template. Now, if you notice, we have a white background, on both around each photo. Now we bring the margins back. So as we bring the margins back, there you go. So now you have your overlay. So once you have your overlay, then you're good to go to take the picture. So now we can actually, now that we have it already set, we don't have to touch the corners, we don't have to touch the backgrounds or the background image, we don't have to touch any of that, start screen, none of that stuff. Because remember, we already preset it beforehand. So now we can click and start the session. So now we go into booth mode, tap to start booth. Remember, it's a 4-photo template. So here's my face. So we'll start it off with picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, and the 4th. Here's the template. There you go.